This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
Here we go, the Illawarra Hawks taking on the New Zealand Breakers. Now, the Breakers have got every excuse in the book right now, and they can rightfully use every one of them because they've been up against it for the last 2 years. But I've got to take the Illawarra Hawks here because they need to bounce back into some serious form if they want to contend for a championship this year, which is what this roster is built for. They've brought Brian Goorjian in. They're going to need to bounce back sometime, and I reckon it's here with a big win over the Breakers. So I'm going to take them in their head-to-head, but I'm also going to get a bit more value and take them in a handicap market here. I reckon they push this one out to the double-figure range. But the total points is the one where I mainly want to play here, because even though the Breakers are getting blown out by some serious figures, they still manage to score the ball. They've got some talent in this team, so I'll take the total points over. Enjoy and gamble responsibly.
I'm never off my grind. I'm always on time. I'm ahead of the game. I'm first place. I'm in my prime. Hard work that pays off. I pay dues. I'm paid off. Cross me, get crossed off. I'm so fresh. I'm so raw. Go hard like A-Day. It's game time like game day. I ball hard and clutch play. It's game time like game day.
The race to the finals in the Hungry Jacks NBL is a fascinating one, and the Illawarra Hawks are buried right in the middle of it. But are they at risk of drifting away from that top pack? Their form of recent times has been a little scratchy. They'll be looking to bank one tonight. And for the New Zealand Breakers, they are undermanned in a big way tonight, unfortunately for them. But as the old saying goes, absence creates opportunity. And for some of their younger players, a good chance to step forward tonight and show their talent. Hello and welcome to Tuesday Night Basketball. It is the last game of round 13. Jack Heverin joined by Leonard Copeland and Pete Julian. We start with the New Zealand Breakers because they are the obvious one in terms of who won't be there tonight, Hulls.
Oh, some huge outs. I mean, just things they can't control. Yanni Wetzel is the biggest out, the one they really couldn't afford to lose. Tom Abercrombie's still not there. Jang Will-McDowell-White is out. But what it means is this can become a danger game for the Illawarra Hawks because everybody on this roster, anyone who's wearing a pink jersey, very nice pink jersey, by the way, has a green light. Everyone's going to have the opportunity to play, to get some shots up, and that does create that opportunity.
DoorDash starting 5, 20% off everything DoorDash March Madness. Use the code MADNESS. Copes, there is that starting lineup, and great opportunity tonight for Kyron Galloway to get a start.
Absolutely. If he comes out and plays well, then it gives him a shot. But I'd love to see Delaney go in there and get his numbers like he played last year. Basson needs to shoot the ball well. Silva, we know, can get it going. So don't ever count these guys out. You know, sometimes when you're all down and you against the world, then you find that extra gear.
Let's take a look at Finn Delaney in his season so far versus his All-NBL second-team season of last year. The thing is, we know he can do it. It's just not happening at the moment.
Well, it is not consistently enough for what he would like for Finn Delaney. He had back-to-back seasons of being in the most improved player conversation. So for him to have done that again would have put him in an MVP race. So he's up against it. It's a different makeup of the team this year. Yanni Wetzel has been a dominant force in that big spot next to him. But tonight, there's really no other excuse. They're going to need a lot from him with no Yanni Wetzel, and I'd expect him, unless he asks for a sub or foul trouble, to play nearly 40 minutes.
For the Hawks, they've played 11 of their 14 home games already this season, so they're going to spend a fair bit of time in the back end playing on the road. After Friday night's win over Adelaide, their coach Brian Goorjian spoke about that.
Do you think that he's that good time to reboot?
I don't fear the road, and it's all about getting. It's not where you play; it's how you play. You know, we've taken our hits, and again, I've spoken before. I like where we're at. I respect everybody in the competition. I fear none. I feel like our group's going to get better and better, and going through this process where we haven't got what we wanted and there's been disappointment, there's been no quit. So there's, you know, a mindset of fearless opportunity and do the organization, the front of the jersey, proud. And I'm excited to go on the road with this group and excited about the future of the organization.
Here's the Amy ladder, and this is that race towards the finals that we were talking about, Copes. The Hawks are just outside the four. They'll go back in tonight if they win, but Sydney in that fourth spot at the moment are playing some really good basketball.
They are playing some great basketball, and the Hawks definitely need to win tonight because, as we know, the Hawks aren't playing up to their standard, I don't think. But like Goorjian said, We're on the road now. There's nowhere to hide. It's just us against the world. Let's go get it done.
DoorDash starting 5 for the Illawarra Hawks. Stuart Reith has been superb for them in recent times. He started the season in white-hot form, dropped off a little, but his most recent games have been really strong.
It's no surprise that good things happen with the Hawks when he's putting up big numbers. He's been outstanding. There's his last 5 games, and he has to be their focal point. I think Tyler Harvey's been a little inconsistent based on his standards as well, but Stuart Reith has the talent. He's got the skill set to be a problem for a lot of teams, and again, we keep highlighting it, but no Yanni Wetzel. Expect them to try and go early and often to the big fella.
It's been a hell of a day in Tasmania and a hell of a day for us. This game postponed by half an hour due to some technical issues and some underground cables. We ask for your patience tonight at times. There are some challenges that we're still working through with the broadcast, but we're underway, and that's the main thing. Oh, Besson, little floater, gets the breakers going.
And that's a good start for him. I mean, confidence builder for him. Get the guys going. The bench gets going, and that's what they need.
Jessup, 21 points, and they played in round 3. Only 10 in their round 10 meeting. Offensive rebound and put back for Reith.
And that's going to be the biggest issue for the New Zealand Breakers. And Yanni Wetzel, we talk about how big of an out it is. He's actually dominated when they play the Illawarra Hawks, averaging just under 24 points a game and 13 rebounds at 68% field goals. It's good for Son. Well, we've got no crowd tonight, thankfully, because that might have been a concussion protocol for somebody sitting there.
100%.
Wasn't that far away from Dan Shamir? I'm not sure he saw it.
Yeah, if he saw it, I reckon he would have grabbed it.
In those white sneakers, he would have ran off quickly. They play through Reith, and why not? He looks set to have a really big night tonight. 18-8 on Friday, and their win over the Adelaide 36ers. Stuart Reith had 3 blocks in that game too. Let's see, the kicks out for Besson. Gets into the paint and scores with the left hand.
Last 3 plays going to Besson. Looks like he's going to be the focal point tonight.
Brian Gorge, that's just a little too easy. That was really a straight line drive down the other end. That's as easy as you like for Tyler Harvey. Another one who we highlighted his inconsistencies. He loved playing against the Breakers, averaging 21.5 points every time they play. New Zealand, what a pass.
Beautiful pass. Seaver for Galloway.
That's what Payton Seaver can do. And I know they've had the injuries with certain guys being out, but they just look like a different unit when he's out there and trying to make plays. And you mentioned a little bit, Copes, these are danger games for 2 reasons. One, for the Breakers, everybody's going to have a bit more confidence for the sake of your leash is going to be longer. If you have a couple of mistakes, Dan Shamir, who might normally yank you for having a mistake, will let you out there because they don't have a lot on the bench. And for the Illawarra Hawks, it's sometimes hard not to fall into the trap of thinking they're missing all these guys. We're going to walk in and get this one anyway. And that's often when things can go pretty south.
Jessup in the corner. That's off target. There's Finn Delaney. We highlighted him pre-game. Nice long outlet look for Besson. Just tell us more about the player's mindset, Copes, how dangerous it can be in a situation like this.
100% dangerous. Sorry.
Well, we might get an early challenge here from Dan Shamir.
What about their hands?
There you go from Dan Shamir. We got a very early challenge.
This is extraordinary. And the best thing about tonight is we can hear everything he has to say.
So Finn Delaney's the one the foul's called on. He said straight away, looks like he's got a little piece of the hand and wrist. Not a whole lot, but the problem is when you challenge this, they're going to slow it down frame by frame and zoom in. If there's contact, he's going to lose this. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to save a foul on Finn Delaney, which he has to do.
But do you burn a coach's challenge this early in the process?
I think it's way too early, Pete.
Well, he's banking on Finn Delaney. That's what it is, Finn Delaney's response and reaction. So it looked like there might have been a little bit of... All it has to be is a little bit of contact. Because, again, if that's sped up at full speed, you don't want that necessarily called if there is only just a slight bit of contact, because it's not a whole thing there. But you're challenging it, so they slow it down in the replay center, they look at every single frame, they zoom in, and if there's a little bit of contact, you're going to lose the challenge.
You're the expert when it comes to coach's challenge. You've done all the stats. Have we seen one this early?
Oh, we have actually. We have seen one. We have seen. I think we saw one. It was in 2 minutes, just last weekend.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
mean,
you and I had one, Cope. So, but again, I understand why. So this is going to be the angle here. He gets ball first and then gets a little bit of Tyler Harvey. So the ball there, that's all ball there, and then after that, just looks like he tries to hold Tyler Harvey's hand.
Most important thing right now, though, is for him to go to.
Okay. The coach's challenge is unsuccessful. The foul stands. White ball.
You got, as a coach, you got to go to your player and say, listen, look me in my eye and tell me if you foul this guy.
I can't have you up at the halfway all game, okay? If you had an issue with the call earlier, I can't speak to that, okay?
Are you not calling hand checks on purpose? Hand check is not part of the game. That's twice, hand check. That's it.
Well, look, I'm going to answer that for Dan Schmidt. No, that's not what's happening.
There was a bit of conspiracy theory about that.
There was. But again, Finn Delaney afterwards gets a little bit of the hand, and that's all it takes when you break it down frame by frame, zoom in.
And it's so important now that Finn Delaney don't get that second foul.
Here he is in transition, lost the handle.
Well, it is, as I keep saying, you understand you're trying to keep him out there. Unless it's foul trouble or he doesn't ask for too many subs, he's got a good motor on him and they're going to need him a lot tonight.
On the other hand, if I'm gorging, I'm going at him every time. I'm going at whoever he's guarding. Because if you get Finn Delaney off that floor, then that's going to help you down the line.
They've won 5 of their last 11, Illawarra, albeit 3 of those wins have been against Cairns and the other 2 have been against Adelaide. Besson. He and Delaney play a little 2-man game. He gets Galloway involved. Nice offense from the Breakers.
Great offense. Ball movement, player movement. Didn't really give the Hawks a chance to get set into their defensive rotations. No one tried to force anything. Easy too.
They've scored the last 5, New Zealand. Cleveland hard at the basket. His first points of the night.
And that's something that Illawarra needed to do. I think the last couple of times we watched them, they shot jump shot after jump shot and they get to the free throw line. But it looks like they're attacking the basket now and being aggressive.
Harvey, lots of room. Not that time, but the Hawks get another opportunity. Shot clock down to 3 for Cleveland. Foul. It goes.
Oh. This can be hard because we keep talking about all the guys that are missing for the Breakers, but what happens is they're going to play a different style of basketball than you'd expect. And for the Illawarra Hawks, you don't want to just fall into trying to either play at that level or go away from what you're trying to get out of this game, what you're trying to improve on as a team towards the business end of the season. Because the Hawks, I mean, this Tyler Harvey's floater game, that's some money for him. Hawks have won 5 of their last 11. So we talked about that as their struggles. 3 of those wins have been against Cairns and 2 of them have been against Adelaide.
So in other words, what are you trying to say, Pete?
Well, right, and this will end against the Breakers. This will mean they've played all 9 games against the bottom half of the ladder. Good finish there from Finn Delaney. That's been the whole question mark for the Illawarra Hawks. Can they beat the teams that are above them? They haven't shown that so far. But right now, they've just got to focus on getting this job done. There's Finn Delaney. Good, strong move, keeping his dribble alive. That's a tough finish. In between Froling and Reith.
Had 10 points when they played in round 3. In round 7, round 10, I should say, had 7 points, but had 13 rebounds in that New Zealand win, 90-67. He was having a bit of trouble finding the bottom of the net in that game, but did some really good things for them defensively. And Cleveland a little out of control. Froling's there to bail him out. Sam Timmins into the game.
I'm very high on this young fella, Timmins. Big body. Look at him run the floor. Sets good screens, rolls hard. Oh, might have got away with a bit of contact there from Justinian Jessup, but I like the way that he plays and he operates.
Jessup up top. Hawks 0 from 3 from outside to start this game. Chase and Randall has Timmins that time. He's called for the foul.
That's what I talk about. He's obviously got a lot of growth to do, but all right now, as a young fellow and you're getting opportunities, set good screens, be solid on the defensive end, clean up the glass and do that. Pick, roll, seal up. And if you get in the right spot, they'll find you.
He is a big body. He is a big target and can finish.
And I'll tell you what's only going to help him grow every single day in training, going up against Yanni Wetzel. And it's a different kind of player to have to match up against. But he's already got that size about him.
.6'11", 24-year-old out of Dunedin. Had a brilliant season in the NZNBL for Otago. Averaged 19 and 13. Was part of the All-Star 5 and also won the league's most improved player. You can see that being a long-term future for them, Pete, can't you? The Wetzel and Timmins combination.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what it might be is more opportunity now. Yanni Wetzel's out with back spasms, which is not usually, it might be one game here and there, but something that has the potential to keep flaring up, which is not nice at all. There's his body again. He's just trying to get a hand on it, looked like, to get the rebound. Lucky enough to slap it in. Good start.
Sam Short suiting up for New Zealand tonight. Former Melbourne United player, Jeremy McKay. He's also played in the NBL before, played one game with the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. He's also part of this lineup tonight. There's two for Froling.
That's just too easy.
His first points. So New Zealand lead by 1. In their home away from home at MyState Bank Arena. Delaney saw a path to the basket, blocked. Sam Froling says no. And Illawarra have their numbers up ahead. Duop breathe all alone under the basket.
Move from Finn Delaney. Look, a little Rajon Rondo fake, but normally you've got to have somebody you're pretending to pass to on that side. There was no one there. Good take from Seaver. That's going to start to really frustrate Gorge. They've had a few of those, just straight line drives.
2 points. Nathan Seaver.
Shooting at 58% from the field so far, New Zealand. Illawarra a little better at 61%.
I was about to say the first team that plays defense might win this game.
Well, we've said that a few times this season about the Illawarra Hawks. It's been some of their struggles on the defensive end.
Why is that, Pete? Why is it that anytime we talk about a Brian Goorjian coach team, the first thing we always talk about is the defensive end of the floor? Why is this team conceding 84.8 points a game this season?
If I had the answer, I think they wouldn't be doing this, because Brian Goorjian would have tried to exhaust every single reason why that is happening. But they've had their issues on the offensive end as well. So I think when you're trying to focus on so many things like that, that gets lost. So there's Timmins on the glass as well. But again, it's just about what is your identity? What are you trying to hang your hat on? Antonius Cleveland is their leader on the defensive end, like Justin Simon was last year, but Justin Simon really set a tone on that end and gave no choice but for everyone else have to follow.
I think, honestly, because they had so much success with the 2 shooters last year, Goorjian must have changed something, because, again, I played against Goorjian for years and years and years, and it was always about the defense. So it's strange for me to see him have guys out here shooting threes, running up and down, and giving away free layups. I'm sure he's racking his brain, because Goorjian is a defensive coach.
Nice take from Rattan Mays. Certainly in the conversation for the best 6th man of the year. Would be almost due for another edition of Awards Watch, Pauls, wouldn't we?
Yep, coming this week.
NBL.com.au. Randall in the corner.
It's a really good close out there from Isaac White.
Long rebound falls back to them. Here's Timmins.
Big Timmins going to work on the boards.
Not that time, though.
That's going to come with the more games he plays. He did all the hard work, got the offensive rebound. Just be patient, go up strong. Just tries to rush it in the end.
Conrad on the floor to be a shooter. He misses out. 0 from 4. Make that 0 from 5 to start with from outside for Illawarra.
And Timmins looks like he needs some oxygen. He's running up and down with his hands waving. He's playing. going to the offensive glass.
Rasmus Bark into the game as well for the New Zealand Breakers. Has spent some time as a starter this season. Here he is in the corner. Good look as well. New Zealand 0 from 3.
We haven't seen a 3 from either team in this game yet.
Harvey hands off to Rattan Mays. Put it behind his back from the mid-range. The shooting clip of the Hawks now down to 50%. Only a few moments ago, that was in the 60s.
Good box out there from Harry Froling. Running the floor.
Isaac White showing his skills.
Well, it's not going to show up on the stat sheet for Harry Froling, but that's really an assist. If you see the way he ran the floor and he blocked Timmins off for even getting to that, and then Isaac White had the lane. That's a really good defense to offense from the big fella.
And wasn't Isaac White fantastic the last game?
Yeah, he sure was.
Coming off the bench.
14 points on Friday. Randall, last play of the first quarter, it's good. The Breakers will take a lead into quarter time. 22-20, they're undermanned, but they've come to play. It's quarter time at MyState Bank Arena in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Quarter time on Tuesday night basketball, and the New Zealand Breakers lead this one 22-20. They shared the ball around. They've been able to get Kyron Galloway some touches. Sam Timmins has been outstanding with some touches in the opening quarter as well. Second quarter in just a moment. The winner of our Kmart gift card for tonight is Jane. We're a crazy basketball family. We eat, sleep and breathe it, and we love going to NBL games. Isn't that fantastic? Beautiful. That's what we love to hear.
Beautiful.
How did we see that opening quarter from a New Zealand point of view, Pete?
And they put 22 points on the board, and a lot of them had some straight line drives, some good things happening. Defensive end is where they got to lock it up. That's an easy knockdown from Harry Froling. Never a good sign when you give Harry a wide open one, because we see what happens when he knocks down a few. As we expect, already Finn Delaney coming to check into the game. The pick and pop threat of Harry Froling with Timmins. He's a massive body. That looks like an offensive foul. It is. He's a big body. but he's a bit slow to get out of those ball screens. You're asking him to show, you're asking him to do that. So look at his show. It's a good effort there, but if no one's going to rotate, that's too much to ask of the size of Timmins. And the problem is, look at that. Peyton Seaver's guarding Isaac White in the corner. You can't tell him to rotate because then it's even more knockdown from Isaac White. And I don't know if we're ready to see the mullet flick just yet.
It's an interesting case, Harry Froling. Here he is, same spot, same result.
Hold up.
Had 27 in round 8 against Adelaide. In the 8 games since, has had a combined 21 points.
Doesn't take a lot. One wide open one and starts feeling good.
I tell you what, New Zealand have done well, though. They're too big to play well. Galloway and Timmins has played great on the glass and scoring, things you didn't expect from these two guys.
And the hardest thing is, you're right, so the way that Galloway in the centre position, even when Delaney slides down there, they're going to guard ball screens differently to Timmins. I think it's a bit much to ask the young fella to play the same way. That's an M1. Good shot fake there from Delaney. Got Harry Froling to jump for joy. And one opportunity. It's a bit much to ask for his size to be able to move and get out of a quick show. Right here, Harry Froling jumped up just a little bit forward to create that contact.
Delaney makes the extra. 6 points now. Leading scorer for the Breakers and the equal leading scorer in the game. Duop Reith and Harry Froling have 6 each for the Hawks. Now Ratan Mays trying to take Galloway off the dribble. It's twice that Galloway's kept him in front. White slipped through and lays it up.
A few words to say too, Isaac White.
He's a little feisty cat, isn't he?
He is. Adelaide boy, that's what happens. That's how we're brought up. That's how we're brought up.
Right. Explains the mullet.
Oh, I wish I could grow that much hair, mate.
We were having that conversation a little while ago, weren't we?
And we don't want to revisit it, do we?
Rasmus Bach knocks down his first points of the game.
Just a bit slow on the rotations there. All the kind of defensive issues for the Illawarra Hawks. They just got to try and fine-tune. Harry Froling down low again. He was open the possession before. They didn't find him with the mismatch.
Wow. White forced into a tough look. There's a foul in that rebound on Bach. Had a hand on Froling.
Working hard down there, Harry Froling. That's what you want to see. Here's Isaac White. Yeah, a couple of words to say after that. This is what I love from Harry Froling. A little bit why a lot of people are questioning, even after that, when he went off against Adelaide 36ers, doesn't play a lot, because you look at the spot that he often plays, where he plays alongside Duop Reith like he is now, in the 4 spot, or more agile bigs, that Gorge kind of goes away from him. I still think you've got to reward him and give him the opportunity to, if you pick and pop knocking down shots, if his effort's there on the defensive end.
Justin and Jessup with a hand in the face.
Tell you what, both teams are lighting it up, so again, the first team that knuckles down.
Yeah, they're 10th and 8th in the competition, respectively, for points conceded per game.
They might have a shootout beat.
Well, these are two teams that defense has been a huge issue all season, so this is somewhat expected.
Froling the spin. Get a little out of control. He'll come out of the game.
It's a good read from Peyton Seaver. As soon as you see a big guy put the ball on the floor and then start to spin, you know he's going to be a little bit out of control. Arrive on the catch and take that one through the chest.
The Frenchman, Hugo Besson, sits down as well. 6 points on 3 of 5. Seaver, Delaney, Galloway, Randall and Bach. On the floor for New Zealand, Cleveland, Harvey, Jessup, Sam Froling, and Duop Reith for the Hawks. Well, Harvey's been patient until now. That's deep.
And we know he can knock it down, but I thought that's a bad shot.
Delaney gets it to go. He's having a big influence.
Well, he is, and right now, the Illawarra Hawks on defence. That was just a quick push ahead in transition. Finn Delaney made a quick move and really got to his sweet spot.
That's the foul I was just talking about. Why? What do you...
And he's asking the question. I mean, there's no coach challenge anyway. That's been burnt, but even still, you're too important to the team. With guys out, there's just no need to even put your hand in the cookie jar.
Rain fade, man. Just stand there and guard the ball. Why are you reaching for the ball right there? You're not going to take it.
Well, he's trying to set the tone and get up and in on defensive energy, but again, you've just got to be a little bit smarter.
You say up and in, he's about to go up and sit down is where he's going. Come on, man. It's just stupid. He's playing great, too. You hate to see him not be on the floor.
Nice touch from Harvey. 6 points on 3 of 5. There's Delaney, pick and pop. He's long.
What can worry you with Finn Delaney? See how quickly he tries to sprint out of ball screens? Can often, good take there from Justinian Jessup. Can often pick up those moving screen fouls, which, again, they're going to happen and they're kind of out of your control if the point guard doesn't wait. Quick timeout here from Dan Shamir.
Scored off the last 2 possessions, Illawarra. Justinian Jessup. Nice finish that time. We saw him knock down one from the corner. That time getting in a little deeper. We're about to take a listen to Hawks coach Brian Goorjian.
On the on ball, more pressure on the guard. They're picking and popping, so the greens on the on ball, keep the pressure on. This is a grind. Just stay at this thing. Now we want the on balls and the handoffs. We want to get Delaney out of them and bring the other kid. So you want to go 5 now. You want to go 4. So in transition on the on balls, Duke, you want to be the picker and you want to be the tuck guy. In reverse, you can hand off with the 1, you can hand off or have the 4 walk away. All right, you understand what I'm saying? So you got the pins action, all right? You got the handoff into shakes and wide, all right? You're the 4, you're the 5. We got to play the D right here, the D right here and rebound. Here we go.
Well, Gorge, firstly, they're talking about the way they're pick and popping is putting a bit more onus on the guards to try and fight over, to not have to rely on the big showing, because you see the way Finn Delaney's pick and popping. And down the other end, he wants to bring Galloway into the screen to have to try and defend it. They think they have a bit more success there because Finn Delaney's excellent in the way he can show. But I'm not sure if that's the best thing to do right now with Finn Delaney having 2 fouls. If you can get Finn Delaney on a quick show and a guard like Tyler Harvey runs into his hip, that's a 3rd foul. He's going to sit down.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
The Breakers 4 and 10 on the season. A win today would get them off the bottom of the table. See a nice pass inside for Galloway. He's playing some good minutes at both ends of the floor.
He is. I'd be hesitant to leave Delaney in this game at this time, because if he picks up that 3rd, that really hurts them.
Well, it does, because what you can't have is you're not going to be able to have Galloway and Timmins out there for too long together.
Now Galloway didn't let Froling baseline. Froling spun back inside and onto his left hand.
That's tough.
Nice footwork from the big man.
Sub coming straight away, short leash with Galloway. Surely that scout is thinking if you can get Sam Froling to take those right-hand hooks, good pass. Again, and they can't finish, but he lets Sam Froling get back to his left, and look what happens.
Tarn Mays took the bump. No foul called. Harvey stole it. Gets it to go. 3rd in the competition in that stat. Just popped up out of nowhere. Puts the Hawks out to a 4-point lead. Illawarra 9 wins, 7 losses for the year so far. Jessup picks that one off. And Cleveland finds Reith under the cup. 6 unanswered points now for the Hawks.
That's what Illawarra has been good at nearly all season, offensive transition. They've got athletes everywhere. They run the floor well. Their bigs, Reith and Sam Froling, do a really good job of lane running. That's what I wanted to see from the Breakers. Good, there you go, Galloway getting one back. But the guards got to look for their floaters a little bit more. They're just trying to force the pick and roll. It's been open a couple of times. Foul there from Bark. But you're going to at least look to score. The one before from Chasson Randall, everyone knew that pass was coming. No one gets a body on Galloway. Easy too.
So timeout call. Kyron Galloway starting tonight. Has 9 points on 4 of 6. 3 rebounds as well.
Let them run, fellas. Don't let them run. Okay. Paid shake or elbow. What? For you? Either 5 or 1. Let's go 1. Okay, so get it back in the middle. Let's go throw it to Hugo. No. Throw it to Chason. Okay, so Hugo, you're on the second side. Okay, so you throw it over here. 1. Okay, he goes, reverses, gets it back, then Finn on there with Hugo on the second side. Okay? Be ready for a little 35 that we're throwing it towards the end of it. Not now, not on that one. Okay, be ready for it. Let's go.
3 minutes 43 before half-time. Illawarra lead by 4 points. Hungry Jacks NBL Indigenous round will be staged across rounds 14 to 15 to celebrate and acknowledge the Indigenous culture across both Australia and New Zealand. We've seen what the players will be wearing. They look unbelievable.
Oh, nice, aren't they?
So good.
Beautiful.
And they're all available to purchase now at the NBL store.
I keep saying it every time. I love the initiative about everything we do. If you do buy one of the jerseys, they all look fantastic. I'm sure you read up on the stories. They're all unique stories. They're excellent.
Jeez, you see Delaney?
Well, we might not have caught it before going into that timeout. Galloway came off and was a bit frustrated because he was going to get subbed out before getting that offensive rebound. There's Basson. Finn Delaney sprinted to him, put his arm around him, just had a chat, said, look, it's all right, you're going to make mistakes, just work through it. And that's what you want from your leader.
Absolutely.
Harvey puts the ball on the floor and gets to work. Draws a foul.
If New Zealand have a chance tonight, Silva and Randall have to get themselves going. 1 for 4 and 1 for 3. And you know, these guys aren't even looking at the basket.
Well, you're right. The way they're coming off, unless it's a really wide open layup, they're trying to make plays for everybody else. Tyler Harvey, a bit long on that free throw. And the other thing you have to do, as you heard Dan Shamir in the timeout, is do not let the Illawarra Hawks run.
Yep.
Give yourself a chance to slow them down in the half court, and then whatever scheme you're going to try and play on the defensive end, back that in. They've got too many weapons in the open floor.
(41-38). MyState Bank Arena in Tasmania. Seaver. 2 points so far. Nice pass as Timmins rolls to the basket. He's having an influence now.
I'm a big fan, Copes. I just love the way he moves, the way he goes about it, his feel for the game.
7 points, 4 rebounds. I feel like he's on your Christmas card list this year,
I was about to
say.
say.
Jessup knocks that down. Is he ready for the NBA, Coach, Justin Jessup?
You know, after watching him last year, I thought maybe he's had some ups and downs. So, look, who's to say yes or no, but we know he can shoot it. When he's on, he can shoot the ball. We know that.
Good hands there from Seaver. I think when it comes down to that, so situational. Good pass from Seaver there. Easy two from Randall. Slowing alongside the shooters in Golden State where he was drafted. Might be able to find some success there for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. And a bit of a spark.
Worked hard to receive that time.
He certainly doesn't lack confidence, does he?
Neither does that man, Tyler Harvey.
That's right.
That's the rotations we were talking about in the first quarter. You're going to run to that pick and roll. Somebody's got to get to the shooters in the corner. They're everywhere for the Hawks.
And that's what we need to see.
That was tough from Peyton Seaver.
And he can really, when he's knocking them down, it really looked good.
Jessup slipped over.
Thought the big fella was about to jump on his back.
I thought he might have travelled. Went for a little skid.
Jeez.
They've made hard work of this. Froling might have got away with the travel. Seaver. Randall to tie it up. Yes!
There we go.
That's a great
Guys we
pass.
spoke about.
Just really good awareness. Cross-court bullet from Peyton Seaver. Good defense down the other end. Not the best offensive set from the Hawks. Quick push in transition. Didn't try and force anything. I love that from Peyton Seaver. Just knocked one down. Didn't even really look for his own shot. Just knew Randall was going to get to there. Easy 2 points. Knocked down and we're all square.
3 times this season, Sam Timmins has scored 7 points, including Melbourne on Sundays. Backed it up with another 7 before halftime tonight. This is what we spoke about, where absence creates opportunity.
Absolutely. Him and Galloway, both of these guys are playing extra minutes tonight, and they're both doing quite well.
Next time the Breakers are in town, suggest there'd be a dinner invitation at the Hooley House for Sam Timmins.
Mate, he's picking him up at the airport.
Yes.
What he's talking about.
Turns the corner, gets it back again. Finishes off that time. He's got 9 points.
20 minutes left. You just wait. I've got a little bit more left in the tank.
Hawks lead by 2. Half-time approaching. There's Timmins short. Tips it back out for Delaney. 4-second differential between the game and shot clock. Breakers looking to tie it up or take the lead. That won't count either. Rattan Mays in the open court. Has Jessup. Feet set. It's short.
Well, big half scoring from both teams. Both throwing a couple of punches here or there. Good effort from the Breakers to not let that blow out. The Illawarra Hawks in transition had a lot of points, a lot of opportunities. They just kept clawing back. And Copes, as you said, back on the imports, Randall and Peyton Seaver got going a little bit. This is setting up for a big last 20 minutes. This is all we wanted. Nobody wants to see a game decided by defense.
That's, well, you're right.
Coaches do.
Coaches do, but...
This has got all the makings of being a really, really good second half. 49-47. We love the work of Tyler Harvey in the opening half. He's got the headset on for us. Tyler, appreciate your time. Brian Goorjian said in the timeout about halfway through that second quarter that it's going to be a grind. Do you feel that way? Is it going to be a grind for the remainder of the game?
Yeah, they're a great team. They run a lot of great stuff offensively. Every game in the NBL is a grind, man. There's no days off here. So, you know, we got to lock in defensively, man. We gave up 47 points, a little too much.
And talk a little about, in that timeout, Brian Goorjian was mentioning the pick and pop game with Finn Delaney compared to when Timmins and Galloway out there. What do you have to do on the defensive end?
Yeah, we got to pack it in a bit. Finn Delaney's a great player. We're off on our coverages just by a split second, and they make you pay for that. So we got to tighten that up second half.
Tyler, we appreciate your time. Good luck. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, brother. See you.
Tyler Harvey has 12 points at halftime, and Illawarra lead at 49-47 at My State Bank Arena. The halftime show's coming up next. It's half time in the final game of round 13 in the Hungry Jacks NBL. The New Zealand Breakers trailing by 2. Illawarra leading 49-47. They had 29 points in that second quarter, which would please Brian Goorjian, no doubt, Pete. But I suggest he probably wouldn't be as happy the fact they've allowed 47 at the other end.
Definitely not. You can kind of sense that frustration from the interview with Tyler Harvey. Yes, they've put up 49 points, but an undermanned New Zealand outfit to give them 47. You're just trying to continue to fix the defence, which everybody keeps highlighting. It's no secret that has been a big issue for the Illawarra Hawks, and you don't want to give this team a chance to start feeling confident. And I'm talking about the New Zealand Breakers there, because yes, they are missing guys, but they still have guys who can fill it up. Seaver started hitting a couple shots. He's diming everyone else. Randall hit 2 threes. We know what Delaney can do. Basson's looked aggressive. But look at this, 47 points and 49 points. We only have one player in double figures, so everybody's getting involved. That's what this kind of game can give you, and there's a lot of offense on both ends.
Coach, from a New Zealand point of view, they do have a lot of players missing. We have highlighted that a lot, but it's important to highlight the fact that they are missing. What have you seen that you've liked with this different lineup tonight?
I like the fact that guys are taking advantage of the opportunity. Galloway, Timmons, those guys, you didn't expect them to have this many points at halftime, but both are going to the glass and playing great basketball. Basson shooting the ball well. But again, and Delaney's being Delaney of old, which is fantastic. But again, it's Timmons, and you know, it's the big boys for me.
Let's take a look at Hugo Basson, his opening half as well. He has to step up tonight, no question about that. Has 8 points on 4 of 8. Was one that really helped them set the tone early.
Well, he's never shy. Hugo Basson, he came into this season and was expected to put up big numbers and do good things, and he's been doing that. It doesn't matter how many shots he misses, he's just going to play with confidence every single time. And another one who would kind of love that opportunity. Okay, there's a couple of guys out, which means more shots for me. That's kind of the way he's been playing, and they're going to need that from him. And it's a good start from Basson.
Peyton Seaver, Copes, I know you wanted to take a really close look at him tonight. We've seen enough of him now. This is game number 10. So we've got enough of an idea of how good this man can be at his best. But the way he's passing the ball in the opening half, he's really bringing his teammates into this game.
He's a quality player, you know. And I think one time he came down and took a shot, and then the next time had a wide open shot and dished it off to the guy coming down the court. So he's a quality import who can play the game. He's smart. He's a facilitator. And, you know, in all of that, he can shoot the ball as well. But look, he finds the open guy, and that's the kind of point guard you want on your team.
Overall, you'd have to think Dan Shamir would be pretty happy at halftime.
I think he definitely would be, yeah, for sure. I mean, you're only down 2, and there's certain things they can correct. And again, it's transition points. That's what no secret when you're playing the Illawarra Hawks. And the Breakers have only played 7 plays. So that's why I'm a bit confused that Delaney picked up that second foul. Do everything you can to go at him for at least 60 seconds. As soon as if he picked up a third, that changes everything. They have to really figure out who they're going to throw out there. 7 guys for a whole game. They might get a little tired the way they're playing, but big second half coming up.
Dan Shamir doesn't have his coach's challenge. Burnt that one early. For Illawarra, the leading scorer in the game so far, Tyler Harvey, who we spoke to just before halftime, has 12 points on 5 of 7. Has been selective with the looks that he's been taking in this opening half, but Copesy feels like he's just getting going.
Look, we know what he can do. He's a spot-up shooter. He can drive, he can dish, he shoots his runners, but when he's feeling it, the Illawarra Hawks are feeling it, you know. So when he's going, they go. So I love the fact that he's a quality player and a quality person.
And I know he's been up and down this season, but we keep talking about role clarity for these contending teams. Duart Breath has to be one of their main guys. Tyler Harvey has to be one of their main guys. The team needs to know it, and he needs to know it, because when they're both playing well, good things seem to happen.
They're in the hunt at half-time. It's 49-47 at MyState Bank Arena. The third quarter is not too far away. just about ready to go for the third quarter. Illawarra lead it by 2 over the New Zealand Breakers. This is the final game of round 13. We'll have a couple of days break and then we'll lock and load for round 14. And as we spoke about earlier, round 14 and 15 will be staged as part of Indigenous round, celebrating the cultures of both Australia and New Zealand and Indigenous cultures. Here's how we start on Friday night, Halls, the 36ers and the Phoenix.
Well, some big games. I'm looking forward to the Phoenix versus the Hawks. That's a double points match. We talk about the race to the top 4. And another one that people might not think on paper. Melbourne United at home to the Brisbane Bullets. They play very well against Melbourne on John Cain Arena. So that one could have some fireworks. Right now we're going to see how this second half goes. Big Timmins getting the start in the third quarter.
What do New Zealand need to do to win this game, Pete?
Well,
sorry, I need to ask that question. Here's the expert.
Score more than Illawarra.
Funny man. I know. Here we go. Here we go.
But I think really what it is they're just going to be solid defense. If they can shut down transition, make them play in the half court, we haven't seen consistently enough to see that the Hawks can put up points every single time down the floor. They get so many easy ones in transition. That's going to come with making sure on the offensive end you get good looks, don't turn the ball over. And they're going to need these two right here, Randall and Seaver, to have a big second half.
They're going to need Delaney to stay out of foul trouble and the two bigs to continue to play well inside.
Jason Randall feeds Timmins.
Like that.
I like that first set. They kind of had the misdirection on one side, threw it to Randall, who just threw the ball onto the floor. Quickly downhill.
They did all of that inside the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. Froling stripped. Nice hands from Seaver.
Does that really well, Payne Seaver. Just picks the time where he just disappears and runs off his man.
Basson with 8 points on 4 of 8 shooting. And Timmins rolling to the basket. Decided to take it himself. Nice finish.
That's nice.
Scored the first 4 points to start this third quarter.
It's a good defensive set as well. Just the way they were fighting over screens. Really trying to make some things happen. And there's been 4 or 5 of them now. Just don't have to do that. What are you going to get out of it? Here's Basson. You like this move, Copes.
That's nice. Show him the ball.
Rise up over the big guy.
Harvey attracted a crowd. That floater doesn't go. New Zealand have brought some energy out of half-time. Delaney to the other end of the floor. It goes.
Well, they have. Energy is exactly what they have done. And they got away with one on the defensive end because Seaver and Timmins ran into each other. Let Tyler Harvey get to his floater and came up shorter than we've seen.
Now Illawarra get their first points of the quarter.
Rotation.
I'm not sure double teaming Tyler Harvey that high up is going to be the answer. They've got weapons, they've got guys, because if it's not Duop Reith who's going to get a dunk there, it could be Justinian Jessup teeing off in the corner. Oh, that is pretty.
What about that touch?
Just a raindrop.
Just gentle. Breakers lead it by 4.
Good hands from Finn Delaney there.
And he's rewarded at the other end.
Whatever happens in this game, Illawarra need to fix their defense.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We've spoken about it all season long. That's been one thing they haven't done well. Quite a bit of contact there. Referee signals all ball. Here come the Hawks with transition mismatches.
Jessup got to the elbow.
You had to pick your poison there. If you over-rotate, they're going to be one extra one to Tyler Harvey in the corner.
11 points now for the next start. Leading scorers in the game. Delaney and Harvey with 12 each. Here is Tyler Harvey. Threw it up there for Froling.
Spoke about this in the first half, Copes, as well as Timmins has played. I just don't think you can play the same pick and roll coverage like you would with Galloway or Finn Delaney at the 5. his size, he's not as quick as them moving laterally. You're asking so much of him to get out hard show. We saw him try to double team Tyler Harvey out there. If you do manage to rotate, it's still a long run for him to get back underneath the hoop or whoever he's rotating to. There's an offensive foul turnover as well.
And it looks like he wants to try. He's doing it. He's trying to do the right thing.
No doubt about that.
He's just not capable.
There's it's a veteran move from Peyton Seaver, just putting the backside in to the screen and throwing the hands up saying, oh, didn't know what I was doing. Well, Mr. Seaver, you knew what you were doing.
No foul called. Duop breathe that time. Finds the foul, and now Sam Timmons picks up his third.
A lot of those fouls are fatigue fouls as well. And the guy's not used to playing more than 5 or 6 minutes, and he's out there for 20 minutes. You sort of lose your focus.
Well, they have only played the 7 guys, and we have seen Ken Stipends beat the Brisbane Bullets only playing 7 players, so it can be done, but the fatigue does start to really set in the second half, and it's not so much where you can't go up and down the floor, it's just a little bit off in your decision-making. The extra efforts to try and get things happening, and there is what their bench consists of. Nominated replacement player Sam Short, Jeremy McKay into the game with Rob Lowe on national duties. And Isaac Davidson as well.
The Hawks are without 3 of their players for tonight. Emmett Nah, apologies. Alex Madronya and Cole Gack on national duties for Australia. Seaver with the deep 3.
Don't you just love his game? He's smart. He's so smart, man. You know, he takes the open shot. He passes to the open guy.
That's a good pass there from Matan Mays to Jessup. And don't tell me twice, Copes. I was really high on him in the offseason when he was signed. In the preseason, had to deal with the hamstring injury. It took him a while to kind of find his feet.
5 assists. 9 points for Seaver.
Jeez.
Delaney forced into a tough shot. Harvey just did enough. And Jessup, who's feeling good.
And that's what he does.
His 3rd treble of the game. He's got 17 and is the leading scorer now.
Well, I think the way he's played this season, you mentioned it, Coach, just about what he could bring for the NBA. Right situation. I kind of like that his decision-making improved. He's put on a little bit of size as well. Defense will be a big question for him as well.
Sorry, my bad. Well, we got to share the ball, fellas. Come on. Bring the ball up now. Let's go fist motion. Hugo. Okay. Hugo, be on the other side. Over there. Okay. So Finn, Chase, you're in the middle. Okay. The touch to you, motion there. Chase, if it's not Hugo's coming off the screen, you have it. Great. If not, you're going into the pinch. You're playing the pinch with him. Okay. Okay. Let's calm down a little bit. Okay. We had a nice run. Then they got us from shots, turnovers, open court situations. Second thing, keep moving it and attacking the closeouts. Okay, don't settle. Attack it. We got even dunks from dishes and stuff like that. Keep on attacking that. Here and there, it's okay to use a midget. Okay? You get in there, you dribble out there. Fist motion. Let's go.
What did he say?
Dan Schmidt, New Zealand coach, allowing us into his timeout. They've conceded the last 6 points in the game. If you think that you could shoot a full-court shot at an NBL game, do you think you could, Pete, for $100,000? Do you think you've got the goods?
Nah.
How do we enter this competition?
I would have to probably punt it up there on full court. Right there, website on the screen. 50K from half court. You'd be a crack at half court. Copes, not Jack.
Not me.
Nah, I think you can have that, Pete.
Illawarra starting to get the game on their terms. Halfway through the 3rd. That turnover's not going to help New Zealand, and Jessup gets back on the free throw line.
Sean Randall saying just cop on in the nose here, but a turnover. You cannot let the Hawks get out in transition. We'll have a look here, and with the left. came across. Definitely did get hit. Just Jessup going to the free throw line. He's had a good little period here. He's pretty much automatic at the line.
One shot.
Averaged 13 points a game last season. He's around that same number this season in the Hungry Jacks NBL. 12.6 coming into tonight. He has 19 in the game. Randall aggressive. He couldn't finish off. Natan Mays has Harvey. That's as tough as it gets. It doesn't go. Harry Froling puts it back in.
Just doing all the hard work early. Harry Froling, he's looked good out there. With a couple fouls, he's got to worry about, but his energy, his effort, that's what Brian Gorgian wants to see as well.
Illawarra shooting the ball at 59% so far tonight. The best by any team this season was 55%. The Bullets versus Southeast Melbourne. Harvey, yes!
And that's what you can't do. You can't go down and double off Harvey.
Not off the ball, the strong side. The guy throws it in. If that's Tyler Harvey, it's got to be a stunt. And if you do have the idea you want to double on the mismatch, somebody else has to go. The question is, who are you going to do it? Probably have to leave Natan Mays. You can't leave Harry Froling, you can't leave Justinian Jessup.
You could hear Dan Shamir after that Harvey knockdown too. Was Hugo Besson, I think a lot of that was directed at. He was really unhappy with the space that Harvey had.
He's been very harsh, well not harsh, trying to hold Besson accountable on the jump. When they signed him, and you saw it early in the season, he's high on his potential as well, and there's a turnover. Easy two on the other end.
And Jessup gets up for the jam.
I'm not sure we've ever seen a Jessup dunk.
Are they sneaky?
Well, they are. It's the first one we've seen of him. Up to 21 points now.
This has been a very good quarter for Illawarra. The Breakers, who brought so much energy, Copes, to start this third quarter, are battling away right now.
Bad turnovers by New Zealand. And anytime you turn the ball over against Wollongong, Illawarra, they're gonna run. They're gonna run.
I reckon these are sneaky, Coach. What do you reckon?
Easy, easy. Big fella.
And you can see the size we talk about he's put on in the weight room. But too many turnovers in this quarter. That's where they're really going to make you pay, the Illawarra Hawks. Justinian Jessup having himself some sort of night. But field goal, they're shooting 61% from the field as a team. 50% from three. They've got 17 assists, so the ball is flying around. A lot of good things are happening. And this is where you also talked about for the Breakers, just running out a bit of gas, only playing the 7 players.
New Zealand last played on Sunday and then lost to Melbourne, which was their biggest loss of the season so far. 35 points. Besson shoots an air ball.
Well, one-on-one stuff like that is not going to get it done when you're trying to get back into this game. Brian Gorgian and the Hawks would love that. If you're going to settle, I know it's a mismatch, but they've shown when they get the ball side to side, set a couple of screens and make contact with the screens, they get layups. They've been getting layups. The pick and roll game was working as well. It just looks like they've
actually gone away from what
completely gone away from it. Not only that, even when they do get side to side, it's nothing aggressive.
But delay over there. Cleveland goes through. But over there is not a foul.
Dan Shamis not easing up on the officials.
He's asking the question of why is it a foul on Peyton Seaver for doing a similar thing down the other end when he got the offensive call? Offensive foul call, and Harry Froling doesn't get one there. And just a different bit of different pivot foot. But it's in the end, I know it's a lot of contact, but it's probably a fair question.
Yeah, it's a fair question. It's a fair question when you're losing anyway.
Most of them are.
Yeah.
Round 10, when New Zealand beat Illawarra, was the first time that Dan Shamir had coached a victory against Brian Gorshin. Brian Gorshin overall against the Breakers is 20 wins, 4 losses.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Seaver off the front of the iron. Might get another chance here. Not that time either. Bark over the back. Drags in the O-board. Shot clock down to 7. Galloway and 1.
And you spoke about it, Pete. The pick and roll for the big fella rolling to the basket. How easy does it look?
Well, it's a good offensive rebound there from Bark, but that's exactly right. It doesn't take much to look at. That has been an Achilles heel on the defensive end for the Hawks all season long. Teams have just picked them apart in the pick and roll game. So it's hard because you want Finn Delaney to get to a pop at times. The way he spaces the floor is really good. But trying to find that balance.
They'll be back in the fort tonight if they win Illawarra. But every game's so crucial for them. We highlighted the form of Sydney and the way that they're playing at the moment. Phoenix and Perth around them. Seaver, head down, took a bump. Foul will be on the floor on Isaac White.
Good push in transition. So Isaac White not set. Just made contact.
It's fair to say Illawarra are playing better basketball, but are they at the standard we thought they were going to be at this stage in the season?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think they'd be 9-7 at this stage. Still a bit of time for them, but they will play the majority of their last games of the season away.
Well, this could be a bit of a blessing in disguise for them, going on the road for an extended period of time. Brian Gordon said he's looking forward to it, but what it means is all their issues, everything they've had, all their problems, they can't hide from it. Because if you are on for a bit of a road trip, you're in the hotel, you're going to be watching film. Whenever there's a spare time, you're going to have player meetings, you have all these meetings, you're spending time with each other to grow as well. So there's no escape from it, which can be that silver lining of a long road trip.
Froling had it ripped away from him by Galloway. Oh, Delaney misses again from close range. A minute to play.
Don't reach.
Seaver did well. Got in the passing lane and knocked it away from Duop Reith. To the other end, Besson shows Froling all the tricks.
Nice play.
Should have done that possession before when he airballed the 3. Try and put the Jets on and get past. Froling's up to 14 points now, Besson.
The next projections for the NBA draft should be soon for ESPN. I wonder where Hugo Besson sits in those projections based on his season.
Another charge from Peyton Seaver. Another offensive possession which really didn't go anywhere. Illawarra Hawks. This is something else that they struggle to do. There's Besson taking right at Harry Froling. Is when there's a mismatch, they just telegraph a lot of it. They're trying to find it. Okay, do a breathe down low, trying to force the ball. There's nothing there. Pass fake, pass fake. Then they kick it off to someone else who does the same thing. They never really get other things to exploit. Here's Sam Short. Next Melbourne United stepping in for his first minutes of the season. 34
games at United. Wearing number 77. I'm sure he didn't get to choose that one.
It's one of your old numbers, isn't it, Pete?
7. That's 77.
Isaac Davidson also into the game.
Wow.
Rattan Mays will have to shoot. It goes!
Okay.
On the three-quarter time siren, it caps off a really good quarter for the Illawarra Hawks. They make their move and put some distance between them and the Breakers. This is how you do it. 0.5 left.
Device. That float me.
3 floater.
The Hawks lead it by 12 at three-quarter time. New Zealand led by 2 at quarter time, but since then, it's been the Illawarra Hawks who have taken over 30-20 in that third term, and now they have a nice, comfortable 12-point lead at 3/4 time.
Yeah, a couple of bad turnovers by Illawarra. I'm sorry, by New Zealand. And Illawarra running the ball now, and they scored back-to-back, so that hurt New Zealand.
The Illawarra Hawks want to put the foot down and continue what you did well in that third quarter for the first couple of minutes here. Don't let New Zealand get their tails up and start feeling really good.
Froling has been a little quiet tonight. Draws a foul on Galloway. 12 points tonight. He's had a good role to play in the game. It's a new career high for him. His brother Jalen has been playing with the Australian team recently as well.
A couple from these games. Emmett Nair as well. He's been looking all right. Had 11 assists one game. I know he's a past first point guard.
We spoke about him, didn't we?
You have last time Illawarra Hawks played, saying they could use someone looking to pass the ball first. That hurts. Offensive rebound on a free throw, and Dan Shamir said, nope, it's going to be a quick sub.
Sam Timmins about to check back in, which has made Pete pretty happy.
I know, Pete's got a smile on his face from ear to ear.
I can promise I'm not his agent.
Could have fooled me.
Man crush, they call it?
Man crush.
Fair. Hugo Basson. Man, that's 100%.
He got fouled twice.
He got fouled there and there. Good awareness from Basson to put the ball on the floor, try and get past Tim Conrad. And he's been good tonight. Really excited to see his future as well.
What do you think that looks like, Pete? He's 20 years of age. He's not a next star this season in the Hungry Jacks NBL. He's playing as an import.
Well, he's going to get drafted. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. And again, it's all situational. What team wants to use him in the right way? I think he's got a really hype future ahead of him as Dan Shamir finally gets technical foul that I think he wanted since the coaches challenge.
Oh yeah, he's been asking for it.
First 2.5 minutes.
He's done well considering he got warned 2 minutes in.
I'm not bothering you. I never talk about you. I never talk about you.
I think he's talking to Gorge. They're just saying, I'm not talking about you.
You might get Gorge, I don't know.
Gorge is looking pretty fit these days.
Yeah.
Seen the videos of him deadlifting in the gym and all that sort of stuff. Don't get too close, Dan.
What do you reckon Gorge was saying to Dan Shamir just then?
He tells him.
I think he's just saying, lay off the referees. I haven't spoken to him all year, so you don't need to.
Might have been complimenting him on his kicks. Gorge is the man that likes to mix it up with his shoe game.
Yeah, he does.
Froling goes with it right hand and banks it home.
It's another one with a really exciting future. Signed a 3-year deal with the Illawarra Hawks.
Don't you love his energy? He plays hard all the time, so this guy's a master thief.
Look at Cleveland, dives after that loose ball.
He's a master thief.
Laying on his stomach, found a way to locate Tyler Harvey.
So we talk a little about the role clarity the Hawks need going forward. Certain guys don't need the ball in their hands to be successful. Cleveland's going to do this. He's going to get steals. He's going to make plays out in transition. They can live off that. That's why I'm saying it's going to be a Tyler Harvey, Dwight Breath is the main focus, and then everybody else just chip in where they can.
86-69 at My State Bank Arena. Just 2 points for the New Zealand Breakers in the first couple of minutes of this fourth quarter. They had to start well to stay in the game. Unfortunately for them, Illawarra have jumped them coming out of the 3/4 time break.
They look tired.
Yeah, they do. You play 7 guys, you're going to be tired, though. It's expected. They've done a good job up until halftime, and even mid-third quarter. But you're right, when you play 7 guys.
You have a look at just the minute spread. 28 minutes, 26 minutes, 28 minutes, 27 minutes. And Bark and Timmins got 15 and 12. Yeah, your body gets tired, but it is the decision-making. Just a second slow.
Especially for those guys who aren't used to playing these kind of minutes.
Great to have your company. Tuesday night basketball at My State Bank Arena. Dan Shamir's still going.
Don't you love it?
Well, he needs. We talk about his sneakers. It's Tim just ran into Cleveland and another turnover. They just had too many of the unforced ones. Speaking of unforced ones, nearly had one there.
The Hawks with an extra number. That's away from Froling.
That's 40 seconds we all want back in our lives.
Pretty ugly, wasn't it?
That wasn't much better.
Can you help me? Oh, yeah. You go. Yeah. Just wait.
So they're going to have a quick little stoppage here to clean the floor. And that's, you can just see the decision making. They're just now a step or two slower. They're getting fatigued. They're tired. A lot of them have played nearly 30 minutes. For the New Zealand Breakers, having just played the main 7 guys. So everything is just a step slower. And it's hard, especially against a team that likes to push in transition. When you do make those mistakes, because you're a little bit more fatigued mentally as well as physically, they're going to make you pay in a heartbeat. We've seen it. They get out and run. Jessup's had a dunk. Cleveland's got out. Tyler Harvey.
I guess the hard thing for New Zealand too is we don't know for certain that any of the players that are out tonight will be back for Saturday. Yanni Wetzel, as Pete said, has back spasms. Usman Jiang has got a cast on his hand sitting on the bench tonight. Will McDowell-White is out with concussion protocol, so they certainly won't be rushing that. So they may have to make do on Saturday when they play Tasmania. Cleveland marches into the key.
Well, that was a warm-up dunk. Everybody just ran away from it. Easiest points he'll have tonight. This is blown right out.
This has got all the makings of getting nasty for the Breakers. Randall has not been able to find the bottom of the net. That's 3 of 9 for the evening. It's Jessup.
Just having their way now on the glass as well. You can see Barks getting up on the bench, trying to just spark a little bit of energy. It's just easier said than done.
Cleveland still going.
Wow.
The Yanni Wetzel injury is one that's going to be really concerning going forward, because especially, let's have another look at this dunk. Everybody just ran away. So here you go. Here's the lane. Here's your highlight. But especially with them on the road, always traveling, getting on planes, hotel, those back spasms can flare up at any other point. And he was so good this season, has been.
He's their leader, offensively, and the guy who rebounds the ball for him. So
been enormous. You can tell they're definitely missing him out there. And another one sitting on the bench, Tom Abercrombie. Talk about 2 key guys at the start of the season they just couldn't afford to lose. Tom Abercrombie first. He's your veteran. He's your leader. He's been there. He knows what you have to do. And everybody else feeds off what he's doing on the defensive end. They've been pretty poor defensively. So they lose Tom Abercrombie twice in pre-season, and comes back against the Hawks in that double overtime game and goes down after 16 minutes. And now you lose Yanni Wetzel, who's been your most consistent player. A lot of things just have not gone the right way.
And needless to say, the most obvious thing is the fact that they haven't been home at all this season.
100%.
And that should never, ever be forgotten.
Never, ever.
It's not an excuse for results, but it's
they've done the hard yards.
And a lot of people just think about it and saying, oh, it's not that bad, like whatever, you're with the team, you're playing basketball. The key is when you're facing these challenges for an extended period of time on the road, yes, basketball is your job, basketball is your life, but you need to be able to escape that at certain times. And having a regimen, okay, everyone's got to have breakfast at a certain time is, what, finish. Sam Froling, I thought he was about to throw that one down, but all this, okay, we're going to have film now just because we're all together in the hotel room on a day off. You never really get to escape it. Have another look at this from Sam Froling.
And you're right, because there are times when you need to go home and get a hug from your daughter, or you need
100%.
You know, you need to see the dog, or you need something else besides basketball in your life.
Go and have a cup of tea with your mum or something like that. Yep. Sam Timmins fouls out.
Oh, it's a challenge. It's tough, and nothing more highlighted than they did lose that double overtime heartbreaker to the Hawks. and then to go back to a hotel room and think about that, and then 2 days later you come to play Melbourne United at John Cain Arena and get blown out. All those things slowly start to weigh up and it just gets heavier and heavier, no matter how hard you try and have that positive look about things.
It's a huge sacrifice that they've made. It's knocked down from Seaver.
The positives they can take out of this, though, is the two big guys. I go back to them. Galloway and Timmons both played great basketball early in this game. So if you're looking at taking off anything from them, those two guys really stood out.
It's going to be a big last 5.5 minutes for the Breakers to hang in there, because if you're the Illawarra Hawks, I know it's tough to sometimes know when a team's facing all this adversity, but they need to run the score up. They need percentage. Top 4 is going to come down to percentage probably with how close and tight it is. So every single point matters.
And they would know that too. Sol is going to get on the free throw line.
He uses his body very well when he attacks the basket.
And this has potential to be a big total for the Illawarra Hawks. 92 points already, 5.5 minutes to go. With that in the mind of we need to have some percentage in our back pocket.
I guess a chance now for Brian Gorshin, coach, to give a bit of an extended rest to someone like DeWatt Reith or Cleveland, who have played a lot of minutes.
Absolutely. Gordon's another one of those coaches who's only played 7 or 8 guys throughout the season. Yeah, that's what I mean. So this is a perfect time to give some of those guys on the bench some playing experience, because you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs.
I wouldn't mind talking a little bit more about that role clarity of the team. The teams are the top tier teams, and Tyler Harvey, DeWatt Reith, main couple of guys. You've got Sam Froling, who plays a similar role to the likes of Xavier Cooks, where you can have big games without needing to demand the ball. So Sam Froling will take care of business if he's in the right situation out in the offense. Antonius Cleveland's the same one. He's going to get his own just on defense, getting in the right spots. So Tyler Harvey and Justinian Jessup, he can be that real third main piece.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Speaking of other guys playing, A.J. Ogilvy, who hasn't seen a lot of time this year.
No, only 5 minutes a game he's averaging, and has only played 7 games.
All right. Isn't he the captain?
Yes.
I don't think I could be the captain in that play. I don't think I could do it. That's a hard one.
94-76. Final quarter from My State Bank Arena in Tasmania. That pass misses the mark from Rattan Mays.
Just fill it up the stat sheet tonight, Rattan Mays. Just 5 points, but 4 rebounds and 5 assists. He's one that I think his role can tweak a little bit in terms of them going forward. When you come in trying to be a bit more of a facilitator, maybe that's the time that if Tyler Harvey goes out, that's where you can run some stuff for Justinian Jessup as that main guy in that group. Because he's got a really good handle.
But he's more of a scorer, isn't he?
He is, and that's been, I think, the issue. A lot of it is they've got a lot of those scorers.
Yep. Sometimes you can have too many scorers.
Well, too many scorers who need to create their own shot.
Yep.
Here's one of them. Doesn't drop for Jessup. Chasing Randall. Hasn't had a great night shooting the ball. 3 of 11 now in the field. Rattan Mays downhill. Gave his look up for Conrad.
I was going up.
Harvey will have to turn and shoot, and it goes.
Wow. That hurts. It's probably salt to the wounds right now. Good defensive possession, and Harvey heaves it up.
He makes an off-balance shot, Coach, look so simple, and it's really not.
He does, man. Last year, I was amazed at the way he made those kind of shots. He hasn't been as potent this year as he was last year, but he still can get it done. And again, that comes with some of the guys he's playing with. He's playing with different guys. He has a different role this year than last year. Last year was all about him getting up those points, and this year he's more about trying to pass that ball.
Rasmus Bach back on the floor. So a bit of running repairs on a cut above the eye, or below the eye, I should say.
Lockie Dent into the game. Gorge emptying the bit of the bench here. Finn Delaney's going to sit down, playing 34.5 minutes, 12 points, 5 rebounds. Picked up those 2 early fouls, which kind of had to tell him to take a step back from that energy. Looked a bit gassed towards the end.
Good with the first.
Son Randall, 3 of 11. It's 2 of 6 from 3.
His 4th game as the New Zealand breaker. Just hung around the group, came in as an injury replacement, played the 1 game on Boxing Day, and then the Breakers had a decision to make. 4 imports doesn't go into 3.
And I think that's what Dan said. Dan said we have 4 imports and we need 3 imports. Somebody's got to go.
And unfortunately, it was Jeremiah Martin.
In the bonus here, Tan Mays with the foul. Randall back for another crack at it.
Spare a thought for that man as well. For everything that we were just talking about with New Zealand and how hard this is. To try and coach the team, keep them together, keep spirits high.
Stay positive.
Yeah.
Has to be one of the hardest jobs in basketball right now.
He's been frustrated at times on the sidelines.
We just can't, we spoke a little bit about it, you just can't underestimate how tough it would be that when you do need that little comfort, good pass there, good finish from Galloway. To have to do it through FaceTime on the phone, even Christmas. Those key things for the 2nd year in a row. There's just no substitute.
No.
What that would feel like, and for those who haven't seen it, the Breakers have a documentary about what they went 154 days last year. That all going this way. It's going to exceed that, being away from home this season. But the emotions of when they returned home, seeing their family, friends, partners, it was incredible.
Just couldn't imagine that. Nice drive from Dent. Galloway says, no, sir.
No, sir.
That's a volleyball spike.
Bark. Stripped by Rattan Mays. Besson whistle for his 2nd foul. Here's Lockie Dent, who thought he was through. Galloway says, He's an exciting prospect, Copes, Kyron Galloway. This is, I mean, from a 21-minute perspective in the game, we haven't seen him play these many minutes this season in the Hungry Jacks NBL, and he's looked good.
With confidence, 6 for 9 from the field, 5 rebounds. Again, like you said, he's playing 21 minutes. Something he hasn't done all year.
He just grabs him around the waist.
And wouldn't you love to have him in the regular rotation, along with all the other bigs?
Well, it gives them an option or something else to consider now, doesn't it? I guess that's a positive to take out of tonight. Harry Froling travels.
He's had a good night. Besides that, he's a bit confused with what happened, but a little pro hop there from Harry Froling.
Dan Shamir's team have never given up 100 points in 2 consecutive games. They gave up 108 against Melbourne on Sunday. That stat in real danger right now. Galloway has 16 points.
3 seconds back, please. 3 seconds back on the clock.
little bit extra time back on the clock. Hawks just 2 points away from the century, raising the bat.
Be a nice number for Illawarra to crack too.
And there it is.
Average 86.8 points a game. Their issues aren't at this end of the floor, though, as you've highlighted, Copes, all night.
Absolutely. Because when they do play those teams like Sydney and Perth and Melbourne, the two teams in Melbourne, they got to play some defense. And it's all well and good to beat the teams under you, but if you think you're going to play like this with those teams, it's not going to happen. Play well anyway.
It's Froling all alone.
Well, the key is, if you're not going to be relying on the defensive end, can you score enough points every single night to beat a team over a series? So you look at the team, look at that, 102 points. That's their highest score of NBL22. Are they going to score more points than a Southeast Melbourne Phoenix over a 5-game, 3-game series? I don't know if they are. They're definitely not going to do it against the Sydney Kings, who are just loaded.
Or Melbourne United.
Well, Melbourne United's defense isn't going to allow them to score that many points. So they've got to really fix the defensive end.
What a dish from the Frenchman, Randall.
There's 15 points. They've ended up with 5 players in double figures, New Zealand. Their depth has been severely tested tonight. Illawarra will keep moving after this one. They take on the Phoenix on Sunday in Melbourne, which is a very, very important game for them.
There's Basson. He's been really good tonight. And one opportunity, stayed aggressive. Didn't hit any threes, but got to the free throw line. He's got 20 points on the night, 7 rebounds to go with 3 assists. 8 assists as well for Peyton Seaver. Gorgian just get it over and hold it. We talked about percentage, not going to do anything too ridiculous here. And they needed the win. They came in, got the win. So that's all about ticking that one off the road trip and moving forward for the Illawarra Hawks.
102-87, the final score. Illawarra trailed at quarter time, but certainly in the second half, Copes, they controlled things.
They did, and it was the turnovers. The turnovers that hurt New Zealand in that third quarter. Because at halftime, we had a very even score. But I think, again, like Pete said, when you're playing 7 guys, you're going to get tired. The fatigue took over and took control of the game.
I was a little bit shocked by that. You're missing a lot of guys. And yes, you're still going to give a lot of minutes to the main guys. You still want to be competitive. You don't want to just throw everybody else out there. But I'm surprised they didn't try and get a few more bodies in there to keep fresh so that those little turnovers, unforced errors didn't continuously occur at the crucial moment. So if you give maybe some rest early, then you can heavy set the minutes in the second half if you're having that chance to win the game.
What do you think they'd be talking about in that huddle right now, the New Zealand Breakers?
It'll be Tom Abercrombie, you can see doing all the talking there about just staying together, just another challenge they've got to try and face. So much is out of their control, but a lot of things on the floor is definitely within their control.
Absolutely.
102-87, the final score. The Breakers will take on Tasmania on Saturday at MyState Bank Arena. As we welcome in the Foot Locker player of the game, Justinian Jessup, outstanding. Finished up with 23 points on 8 of 17. Justinian, thanks for joining us, and you really opened that game up after halftime.
Yeah, just was able to find some shots in transition. You know, Tyler X did a good job of finding me. Yeah, just fortunate to get something to go down.
Justinian's Halls here. I've got a first question is, it looks like you're enjoying the weight room a little bit.
Yeah.
Illawarra, put on a little bit of size. There he is.
Big boy.
But I want to talk,
Alex Moore.
I want to talk a little bit about your role on the offensive end. How do you go about finding a rhythm with a team that has so many offensive weapons?
Yeah, I mean, it'll just come and it ebbs and flows sometimes, you know. Biggest thing I got to do is just control what I can control, you know, hunt shots in transition. Gorge runs plays for me, so I just got to take the most advantage of those opportunities. So, you know, it's not like we got a selfish team either, so I'll get my shots.
Jessup, Leonard Copeland here. Now, Gorge is a defensive coach. You guys like to get the ball up. Are you struggling on the defensive end overall this year?
I mean, overall, probably a little bit. I think we're headed in the right direction, though. You know, we're just going to continue to get better. Our practices have been really good. You know, I think everybody's bought into getting better on that end, too, because obviously we have the offensive talent, so it's just going to be about guarding pick and rolls, guarding handoffs for us, you know, going down the road.
And lastly here, we're about to go on the road for a lot of road games away. You played heaps of games at home in the Wynn Entertainment Centre. So what have you spoke about before this road trip? What are you looking to get out of it? You get a lot of time to spend together. How are you going to embrace this challenge?
We're looking to get a lot of wins out of it. That's what we want to do. So, yeah.
Good point.
Fair enough.
If you get wins, that's all you need. Justinian, thanks for joining us. Well done tonight.
Yeah, thanks.
Shot the ball well. 23 points, 8 of 17. Shot with confidence. Copes, that was something you said earlier in the game. He looks a different player when he's playing with confidence.
Absolutely. If he gets going, though, the team gets going. But, you know, it's not all about the three-pointers for him. If he takes that ball to the hole, he had a dunk. He takes the ball to the hole, he sees it go through the net, and then knocks down a three. He's all happy. He's happy.
Well, he has been good. I love that when he says that he's not worried about really hunting his shot too much. He knows within the offense that he's going to be able to try and find it. It's going to happen over time. And I think he's going to fit perfectly in that. If they can still find their role clarity around Tyler Harvey maybe being 1 and Duart Breath being 1A, then go from there. Everybody else will chime in. I think Rattan Mays can actually be really beneficial to Jessup's success as that season rolls on. And yeah, I think he's taken steps in the right direction, definitely individually. And
you were right, Justinian Jessup. He's been in the stronger room, Pete.
Well, he enjoyed it, didn't he?
He's looking big. The coach of the Illawarra Hawks, Brian Gorshin, has been good enough to join us. Gorge, thanks for your time. This is the start of a really challenging period for you on the road, so nice to start with a win.
No, in some ways, I think it's been good for us to get on the road. I don't like the idea of being bunkered down and staying at home like if you had your choice. So we know our backs are to the wall. We can't afford any more mistakes. And whether it's on the road or whether we need to play better than we've been playing. And I just thought tonight there was more of a will, more of a want, more of an energy in everything we did, whether it was cutting, whether it was running the floor, whether it was putting pressure on the ball. We still struggled with some on-ball defensive stuff, but that's what he's an expert at. And again, nothing's easy, and just happy to get away with a win and get some momentum going here on this road stand.
Gorge, Leonard Copeland here. Have you ever had this many offensive threats on a team? I've played against you many a times, and it's been all about the defense. But brother, you got some shooters out there now.
And at Copes, you can tell I don't know what the hell I'm doing with them. All I keep saying is, God damn, you got to play some defense.
Funny,
I've never had the Copeland Gaze deal happening.
Here we go. That's funny.
So it's all new for me. And again, a lot of the issues we're having. And it's me getting an understanding of who plays well together. And you're right, we've got a lot more offensive options. So excited about it, and I think we're going to get better.
Gorge, Halls here. I want to talk about this game in particular. You're starting the road trip, but you mentioned in a timeout about this game would be a grind, no crowd. What is your message leading into a game like this to prepare for something that won't necessarily be like this for the rest of the season?
Well, I just think our weakness has been, you know, we lose to Tassie at home, we lose to Perth twice at home, Melbourne at home. When the team comes with the glove with a lot of energy early, we kind of get on our back foot. And I think sometimes because maybe we have these scoring options, they think they're going to hit a couple shots and they're going to go away. And this team obviously is missing some pieces tonight, and maybe there's a mentality, you know, we're not up 10, what's the problem? What's the problem? Hey, man, these teams are going nowhere. And you look at the 5 players that were on the floor, they can all play. And we have to, at some point, understand how to grind out a win and get stops and get some stuff off stops. And that's been my message at practice and in the games as well.
Well, Gorge, so far in the NBL22 season, we've seen I think you and Dan Shamir, 2 of the more entertaining coaches on the sideline from what we can see. Didn't enjoy a bit of your advice. Were you giving him a couple of bits of words of advice during that?
Well, I just, you're always fighting in this. I think I'm trying to change my personality on the sideline. I got 2 technicals in this thing early for saying stuff in the first quarter to the referees, and you feel like, and I've done this with Trevor Gleason in the finals. They work the referee, and you're trying to take a back step. It's like, well, what do you want from me now? If you're going to allow that on that end, then let me get going. So I just thought tonight, again, I got nothing but respect. I don't want to get it into the other guy, but there was a situation where a second time he came down into our end and was on the floor, and I just said, can you back him off and put him back in his box? And I know it didn't go over well, but I'm in it like we all are in this thing. It's a fight. And any edge you can get, we're all looking for. And the referees are huge in this,
Well, I thought it might have had something to do with, first time he might have lost the sneaker battle, Gorge, to Dan Shamir.
Yes.
That's what we thought that it might have been, the white sneaks from Dan Shamir.
I had to lose style because I got I've got a peg leg, so I got to wear Hoka's. I got a therapeutic brand.
Are they old man shoes, George?
They're for the over 70s.
George, just before we let you go, and we appreciate your time. Justin Inges, that we spoke to a few minutes ago, said that he feels like the best is not that far away. Do you feel that as a coach, that you're starting to get back to the sort of the way that you want to be playing now?
I think we're getting better. I mean, there's Phoenix, all these teams, I don't know. But just us, when I look at us, I like the way we're playing a ton better than how we started the season. And he's a big part of it, too. I think he's becoming a much more all-around player than just a shooter. And he's starting to gain confidence. And he's starting to touch the ball more because the ball's moving more. So happier team, more guys involved in the rotations. So I'm excited about it.
Get into the locker room and take those Hokas off and have a bit of a rest, Gorge. You've earned it, and thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gorge.
Isn't he fantastic,
He's
as
funny,
always?
man. He's a funny
Coach
man.
of the Illawarra Hawks, Brian Gorge. And let's take a look at Sam Froling's night. Pauls, you mentioned in the call that it doesn't always have to be a stat sheet filling night for Sam Froling to have an influence.
No, it doesn't, and he's going to put up big numbers just because he finds the ball. He gets to the right spot, and I think they do run some plays for him where he can have success, where he loves to rip to the left and get on the hoop, and he's an athlete. We see him get upstairs a few times, but just someone who's going to really have a lot of positive impacts on games without necessarily needing the ball in his hands. And that's what every team wants. You want a player like what Sam Froling can bring, and I'm just a little bit upset that he didn't actually try and throw that one down, went with the double pump fake, but I might have to ask him about that.
I think he was almost 3/4 of the way there for that jam and got caught in the air. Sam Froling's chucked the headphones on for us. Sam, 100 on the board, always a nice result to crack the ton in a game like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. They're such a talented team defensively, so to come out and put 100 up is pretty big time for us.
Sam, Leonard Copeland here. You bring the energy every night. Is Gordon giving you a specific role to play, or is it to score, to rebound? What's your job?
I mean, yeah, rebounding's a big one, and I spoke to Chris Anstey before I signed with Gorge, and he told me if I can get an O board every quarter and run the floor and get a bucket every quarter, then I end up with 16 points, and they haven't had to run anything for me. So I really took that on board, got in really good shape, and that's let me chase down those boards and get up and down the floor.
Well, it's a good person to get some advice from. And I want to talk a little bit about this road trip that you're about to embark on. You had an extended period away to start the season last year. What do you look forward to on a time where you get to play a lot of games away from home, spend a lot of time with the team, whether it's hotels, doing all that kind of stuff? What do you really look as the positives on a road trip like this?
Yeah, I mean, we all like each other, so it's fun to just hang out.
To start?
Yeah. Like guys don't get to bring their families, so it's just all the team together, and it's a bit of fun.
Are you honestly saying you like your brother? You hanging with your brother? You and your brother hanging together, are they?
Yeah, as long as he's not annoying me.
Fair enough.
Sam, you've just signed a 3-year deal, so it shows your belief in this team and where it's headed, and obviously the desire to play under Brian Gorshin. But future aspirations and where else you want to head, what does that look like for you? Do you start to try and map out what the next 2 to 3 years could look like to get you to a higher level?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first and foremost, I want to go to an Olympics, and there's one coming up in 2 years. And I don't know a coach better in the world for me to get me there than Gorge. And then the NBA beyond that. I think if you're on that Olympic team, you end up being an NBA player. So that's where I want to get to.
And talk a little bit about the matchups. Every night for you, you look at the power forwards around the league. You mentioned the Olympics and guys who are trying to get to the next level. There's no night off for you. Finn Delaney, we've seen what he's done over the course of his career. Xavier Cook's another one. Jack White, Mitch Krieg. It seems like it's a blockbuster matchup for you every single night. How do you get ready for these kind of challenges every single time?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of talented players in this position. And I think for me, it's just, you know, sticking to the stuff I know, chasing down boards, running the floor hard, playing my best on D, and, you know, just letting the game come to me. Other than that, there's, you know, I'm not one to get intimidated by guys or anything. I'll just go out and play my hardest.
You're going to be on the road for a little while now. Is there anyone on the Hawks team that you try and avoid sitting next to on a plane or room with or anything like that? This is a chance to dob someone in.
Yeah, I mean, it's Harry, obviously. He stinks and he's annoying.
That's funny.
We kind of knew where that was going the whole
Just
time.
set him up. That's the easiest lob he'll get.
Yes. Sam, thanks for joining us. Great to chat.
Thanks, guys.
Sam Froling. Isn't that great to hear from an Aussie hoops perspective that he's got Olympic aspirations as well? We'll talk about that and we'll wrap this game up on the other side of this. Illawarra win it 102-87. Illawarra winning tonight 102-87 over the New Zealand Breakers. That takes them to 10 wins, 7 losses for the season here in the Hungry Jacks NBL and puts them back inside the top 4. It was a pretty polished performance after quarter time.
Well, it was, and a lot of it, as we keep harping on about, is the Breakers ran out of gas. They look fatigued, and that's what's going to happen when you play 7 players. But credit to the Hawks. They needed to get a win. You heard Brian Gorgon talk about things are going to be a grind, and a lot of this, when you're playing, there's no fans, and the game's been delayed for 30 minutes. You got to bring your own energy, and they looked a little stunned in the first quarter, of a little flat. Things started to pick up. When they got turnovers, that's when their game came out and played. And what else I loved from Brian Gorgon talking to him is he said now he's starting to get a few more rotations out and seeing who works well together. And it looks like guys are enjoying playing with different guys out there because things open up. I know Isaac White has been playing well, But if you're Justinian Jessup and you see Isaac White there as well, you're thinking, okay, this is still my main time to go here in the offense. He'll get his shots, and that's why things are working out. Tyler Harvey had 19, 5 and 5. One of the quietest games I thought we've seen of him. Just did it super efficiently, just hunted his shot when he needed to be there. Galloway was good. Basson was really solid for the New Zealand Breakers. And yeah, again, we talk about it like a broken record, but things just haven't gone their way. They're missing key pieces once again, and they're not going to make excuses, but they've got to back up and just try and fight their way through this.
55% from the field. That's the best anyone shot the ball this season for the Illawarra Hawks, so that's something that they can take out of tonight. Coach, talk us through Tyler Harvey. You spoke a lot about him during the game, about perhaps the numbers aren't quite as high. What are you seeing from him, and what did you see tonight?
I saw that he relaxed and got himself going early. He didn't force anything. His runners going, his three-pointers going. He made the right pass, 5 assists. You know, and he looked comfortable, you know, and when he's playing well again, the team's playing well. He was their leader last year. He hasn't been up to that level this year, but I think, like Gordon said, you're on the road now, you're playing, it's us against the world. You know, you're eating together, you're sleeping together, so he'll get going and things will, you know, things will go well for him, I hope.
Does he have to be one of their top 2 guys every single night? Not scoring-wise, but their main 2 go-to guys.
I think last year he did, but this year they have extra guys who can score the ball. So he didn't really have to, as long as he's passing the ball to the right person.
When he has the ball in his hands, though, it does look like things flow better when they think, okay, Tyler Harvey's the one making plays. Stuart Breath can be number 1. I think that's fine, but then it's right on that. It's got to be Tyler Harvey. Everyone else will kind of fit in from there.
Shining star for New Zealand was Hugo Besson, who had another good game. He's in a nice little patch of form at the moment. The 20-year-old Frenchman, he finished the night with 20 points on 8 of 14. 0 from 4 from outside, but got involved in other facets of the game too.
Mature for 20 years old, man. You see someone who can score the rock like this at 20 years old against grown men, then he certainly has a bright future. And I'm looking forward to him playing in the NBA because I think he'll get there.
Oh, he's definitely going to get there. And what I'm going to look forward to is him taking on that challenge because he's never afraid of the moment and never afraid to play with confidence. And that's what you want to see. Even games when he's struggled or perhaps hasn't been shooting the ball well, still tries to get involved. And I give a lot of credit to Dan Shamir for the way he's been coaching him. He's coaching him like he's been in the NBA for a few years, holding him accountable for all the little things, not saying, okay, you are a future prospect of ours, maybe you can get away with a little thing here or there. He's yelling at him, he's yanking him when he has to, and that's only going to help him get better prepared for the next level.
Here's the Amy ladder at the end of round 13. This was the last game of the round. You can see Melbourne sitting on top of the table. South East Melbourne second. Perth third and Illawarra fourth after tonight's result. Takes them 10-7, equal with the Sydney Kings. That just spices things up a little bit between those two teams, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but Sydney's got a very nice run home. The Illawarra Hawks need wins and need a lot of them.
Here's the round that's coming up when we start on Friday for round 14. We start with Adelaide and South East Melbourne. Jump ahead to a doubleheader on Saturday night. Melbourne and Brisbane, a very interesting game. And a triple header on Sunday. Hoops will be a lot of fun. And we're going to finish it off on the Monday with New Zealand and the Bullets. Couple of days rest from us. We're going to take a break. We're going to be back on Friday. You two are going to be fresh and you two are in commentary on Friday as well.
Absolutely. Shout out Liam Santamaria and family. Hope everyone's doing well.
Let's hope so.
We'll see you Friday. Thanks for watching the Hungry Jacks NBL.
It's game time and I'm up one. Name something I ain't done. Name a body that's my type. Air Jordan, I'll take flight. I'm next level, I'm franchise. I'm top tier, I'm that guy. I'm the man of the year. I'm a man with no fear. I think like I'm a shark. The way I move so sharp.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Trade.
All right, we have the press conference now. And Roy, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, Coach, it's Roy here. Just want to hear your thoughts on the game tonight and how you guys managed to get the win.
Just, I mean, a perfect game for
where the struggle has been all year. When we get in a battle like this against a team like this, and we had some advantages. They had some guys out. We're coming in here desperate, but I just feel like punches or don't run away early, we get on our back foot. And tonight, I just like the way we grinded it. This team came in like they did the last time. There was a confidence about them playing against us. We struggled with them last time, and they gave it their best shot. And I think they took leads at times, but I liked that we stayed in there and we kept battling, kept fighting, and really we opened up the game off some steals. And some deflections off the defensive end. We're starting to get more contribution deeper into the bench than we did at the start of the year. And, I just like the will and the want of the team over the last, 2 weeks more than I have throughout the start of the season.
What does it mean to the group when, particularly in the second half, you can get Jessup scoring on the end of whether it's steals or just rebounds or transition plays? Because there was probably 7 or 8 points he got for you off those sort of transition plays.
Well, that's what we've been the worst defensive team in the competition, and I haven't been lying about that. And when you're taking the ball out of the net the whole time, he never gets anything cheap. And tonight, you get and you lose him when the defense isn't set. It's the best opportunity for him to get shots, and there was a lot of that tonight. And then I thought, the early pick and roll in transition with the court spread, and they had to rotate. We did a good job of enabling him to get free. And that happens when we get those early on balls, or we get stops and we get out in front, or we move the ball from one side of the floor to the other. And both of those things haven't happened on a consistent basis this year. So what we did tonight really helped him. And if he gets that opportunity, you can see how dangerous he is.
In the first half there, were you getting a bit nervous when the guys just couldn't shake them free? There was sort of, you'd get a bucket, they'd get a bucket, and it was pretty close right up till half-time?
I was, to be honest with you, I knew coming in those 3 guards, Delaney, I just have, it was a big loss, them not having their post guy tonight. But those other pieces and all that guy does in their stuff is need to roll out and be an offensive threat going to the front of the rim, and they had that covered as well. So I knew this was going to be a challenge tonight. I knew he'd have them fired up. So it was going to be, can we withstand it and keep moving forward, whether we were 5 down or 5 up. And again, that's been a weakness of our team. And tonight we talked about it, during the course. I mean, you look at the Adelaide game, we're up 15. They come back and tie it in the third quarter. We were losing those games. And now the last 2 games, we've been in that situation, and it hasn't stopped us. We've just kept our head up and kept moving forward. And I think that's a good sign.
I heard you sort of say on the coverage afterwards, and a few other people around the camp have sort of hinted that looking forward to getting on the road and thinking that the road will be beneficial for you guys. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just think it was, I remember last year being on the road for months before the season started, and the team it can get a point where you're it's too long, but we went to Albury-Wodonga, then we went to Cairns, and then we started our season. And I remember Cairns at the start of the year was kind of in our situation, a regional team. They play their first 7 or 8 games at home, and it was not good for them. And I was worried when the season started, to be truthful with you. I'd rather, if I had a choice, and I had one, I'd rather play the first 7 on the road and try to sneak a few, get some momentum, and then come back at home. And I just thought, playing all those games at home, one after another, it just got ho-hum. And you're always going back to your apartment. You're always going back to your wife or your girlfriend, where this, you eat together you got to pull together because everything's against you, and there's some positive to that. And I thought, well, paint that picture for what's coming ahead, because we haven't had any of it, and it might be a good thing for this young team.
Yeah, same question to you, AJ, just from that player's perspective as well. We all know how tough the stretch was on the road last year, but I guess do you get, I guess a bit stale when it's the same environment, same thing sort of day after day after day?
Yeah, I think what Gorge said really applies. That it's hard being on the road, and it gets to a point where it's really tough, but it's the same at home. It was kind of getting a bit repetitive. It's kind of the first time we've ever done that, have that like continued home stretch. Usually you break it up with road trips. So yeah, this gives us an opportunity to kind of live in each other's pockets for a little bit, spend some time together, and really try and bond and build better relationships going towards the finals, because we know we're going to have to be able to win on the road if we want to win the finals.
Just last one for me, back to Gorge. Got Phoenix coming up next. A lot of talk about this team hasn't knocked off one of the big dogs yet, or those teams in that four. Is that something that you think is important and something you don't want to leave sort of down to the back end of the season, needing to pull those games off those big teams, for the first time when the whips are cracking there?
Well, we put ourselves in a position, if we don't get a few of these, we're not going to make the playoffs. You look at that four, you look at Sydney, you look at Perth, you look at Melbourne, you look at Phoenix. It's, if where we are and where we sit now, if we don't win any of those games, we're not making the playoffs. So, and we got to do it on the road. So, yeah, we understand the challenge. We're getting better, and Phoenix knows what's at stake as well. So it makes for a great competition and a great season. There's no easy games, and where we are, our backs are against the wall the rest of the way. We can't afford to dump anything, and we've got to beat a few of these good teams to get there.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, AJ.
Just want to, yeah, we'll take this one out. I'm going to help the dude pull it apart. Right. Looking at the stats, Gary?
I'm reading the game.
Looking at the stats sheet. All right, we're with Dan Schmier and Kyron Galloway. Mark, do you want to go?
Yes, please. G'day, Dan. Just off the back of your last outing, Melbourne, I'm not sure whether you challenged the guys or not, but did you feel you got a better effort? You got what you wanted from your players tonight, a bit more so than you did last time out?
Melbourne game was 10 days ago. Was a tough one.
Hold for a second. Just unmute your...
Shall we?
Yep, here we go.
So that was definitely a tough one, but we had a tough stretch since then, the last 10 days. Struggling with injuries. So, we missed 5 players today, one of them for a good cause, playing with the Tall Blacks, but Yanni didn't recover from a little injury he had, I think, in that game, and Will, and obviously the others. So it was a little challenging, and coming into this game without those 5, when you're coming to a game, you have a kind of feeling, that it's not going to go easy. Definitely played with effort and did a lot of good things up to 60-60. It was, if I'm not mistaken. Then they had a run that we didn't recover from. You want to be critical of yourself as a player, coach, collectively as a team. Want to get better, but we're in a tough spot, and we know it can be tough, and I think we could have done better, but at the same time, it's always a combination. I think they gave it everything they had.
Was it always going to be tough to kind of stay the distance with a short rotation of just 7 players?
will it over? Will it always?
Yeah, was it always going to be tough for you guys?
It's it's. We all know that injuries are part of the game. Players miss games. We all know that. Obviously, talking about the players who are not playing is never smart. In the press conference after the game, I don't know if it's tough to manage a game without Will and without Yanni, and we also remember the others. Obviously, but I don't know if they play, if it looks differently. Nobody knows. We just need to accept it. You always hope that you'll have a chance to win, but in a game like that, again, for maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that, somewhere in the third quarter. We were still executing, made mistakes, but still executing, hung in there, fought the fight, and unfortunately lost it there.
Kyron, Mark here, what did you feel you did well in that first half? I mean, you were right in the game, bucket for bucket, and then what kind of dropped off a bit in the second?
Me personally, or as you're talking about the team? I felt like we were doing a good job of keeping the easy points away, the offensive boards, and just the easy runouts. And I think when they went on that little run in the third quarter, we let our focus and effort slip a little bit just for a couple of minutes, and they kind of blew the game open a little bit, and we never recovered from that.
And Dan, any bright news on the horizon in terms of Saturday's next game? You'll have Rob back, obviously. Anyone else?
I don't know. Will is recovering from a concussion. I think he feels better. It's going to take time. All these guys who are coming back, you don't know when exactly they're going to be back, and it's already quite an extended period of time. So coming back is also a process. So I don't know about Saturday, but on the horizon, yes. On the horizon, if we're thinking about the team we can have with Will, Yanni, Tom is coming back at some point. Usman definitely feels better. We already practiced him, preparing for this game, had some pain, pulled him out of it. So on the horizon, yes, at some point, hopefully we'll be a full team.
And just speak to the little offensive spark that Kyron gave you. Last one for me. Just nice to see him, doing what he does, getting buckets.
Yeah, games like that. Always provide an opportunity, and today, Kyrene and Sam, both of them, are in a position that they don't know how much they're going to play each night, if they're going to play. Some games they can go with nothing, and some games when the matchups are right, when the foul trouble is there, whatever, they can go. It's not an easy place to be, and today they had a chance. Was not perfect, but Kyrene obviously finished well, had his 70% from the floor, which is nice. As always, you lose, you go, you analyze what you could have done better. There are a few things over there that he can, but happy he did well on a few fronts.
Boys, do you have any? Couple of quick ones. Kyron, what's it mean to you to get an opportunity like tonight where you know there's a good role for you to really sort of get some minutes on court? And did it sort of whet your appetite for a day and time where you can be playing, a bigger role in the NBL?
Yeah, you definitely always want to be ready for the opportunity. You obviously don't want it to come at the expense of an injury to a great player like Yanni, but knowing what Yanni does for this team on both ends of the floor, it's really gives you a lot of enthusiasm, but it's also a lot of pressure at the same time to step in and fill those shoes.
And just how helpful was it to you when your teammates brought you into the game? Like Peyton hit you up a couple of times on rolls. There was a few guys seemed to just get you the ball in good spots where you...
It's huge because you're coming in with the jitters, like I said, a lot of pressure, and then they did a good job of getting me going. And also, when I was making a couple mistakes, as we all did, they did a great job of keeping my head up.
And just as the game went on, what was it like to play through, all those minutes and sort of have to sort of test out what's in the gas tank and those sort of things towards the back end of the game?
It's always staying ready. It's not a big difference like playing the games. You're still practicing, always prepared to play 40 minutes. So
I'm all good. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You're so professional.
The Breakers averaging 21.5 points every time they play. New Zealand, what a pass.
Beautiful, New Zealand.
Nathan Harrod Froling running the floor.
Isaac White showing
22 points on the board, and a lot of them had some straight line drives, some good things happening. Defensive end.
Receiver. Randall to tie it up. Just did enough. Now Jessup, who's feeling good.
He's high on his potential as well, and he's a turnover. Easy two on the other end.
Wow. Rattan Mays will have to shoot. Hit. So they may have to make do on Saturday when they...
I was going up.
Harvey will have to turn and shoot, and it goes.
That hurts. From salt to the wounds right now.
What are you trying to say?
Well, and this will end against the Breakers. This will mean they played all 9 games against them.
And we know he can knock it down, but I thought that's a bad shot.
Delaney gets... That floater doesn't go. New Zealand have bought some energy out of half-time. Delaney to the other end.
Good hands from Finn Delaney there.
And he's rewarded at the other end.
Whatever.
Points and they played in round 3. Only 10 in their round 10 meeting. Offensive rebound. They play through Reith. And why not? He looks set to have a really big night tonight. Bowling says no. And Illawarra have their numbers up ahead to Reith. Now Illawarra get their first points of the quarter.
Rotation.
The Breakers averaging 21.5 points every time they play. New Zealand, what a pass.
Beautiful. Delaney, play a little two-man game. He gets Galloway at the table. See a nice pass inside.
Lane running. That's what I wanted to see from the Breakers. Good, there you go, Galloway.
In the O-board. Shot clock down to 7. Galloway and... Nice drive from Dent on Sunday. That stat in real danger right now. Galloway has 16 points. And that's the main thing. Besson, little flop. Let's see if it kicks out for Besson.